We're going to talk about the Perseids and meteors. And there's a connection between comets and meteors, and we'll get to that later. But this is a time-lapse photo, and you can see what looks like sort of a spray, a shower of meteors coming down towards us. You can imagine it. This photo was probably taken over, oh gosh, if there's 30, 40 meteors up there, this could be maybe an hour of time. So you'll see maybe one meteor a minute was about normal for the Perseids. Here's a bright Perseid crossing the sky. Sometimes they're very bright and sort of flash at the end. I was out observing them with, in fact, some of our crew here. We all went out to Joshua Tree and we saw some great ones, and one of them, in fact, did explode like that at the end and got a very bright flash. You can see color in them sometimes, and they'll even leave behind trails that'll glow in the sky for a while. And I love this picture where you see, I believe that's Andromeda there. It sure looks like it. I have to go and identify other stars around it. Oh yeah, that is. So just amazing photograph here of another Perseid. Again, here there's a nova marked in this one, which is fun. So there's a nova, which is a star that's a white dwarf that's suddenly gotten brighter. It's had some nuclear reactions on its surface. There's also some sprites in this photograph, those sort of orangey looking things, I believe, are sprites probably above those thunderstorms. So this is a really remarkable image, including a Perseid. This one here, again, they almost look like they're converging at a location too, which they will. If they come from a radiant, they'll converge on the far side. So this photo captured that, although I love the umbrella and the gown as well. It's just a very artful picture. And then here we look at it and see, again, the Milky Way, they appear to be coming from a certain direction. This is just a beautiful picture of Perseids. Now you need to go to dark sites to see the Perseid meteors. And one of our very own foundation employees, Nikki, who's here with us tonight, I think. We're just going to keep bringing in the guests every once in a while. But Nikki, are you there to join us?
Yeah, hi. Thanks.
There you are. Hi. Nikki helps run our foundation on a day-to-day basis, and she and I coordinate things together to make sure the events and plans all work out and things happen. And she told me that she went out to a dark location to see the Perseids. Now you might think, oh, did you go to Joshua Tree? Did you go out in the desert? No, Nikki, you actually went to New England.
Yes.
You went all the way. You went all the way to Maine to watch.
I was in the Great North Woods of Maine. It was really, really special, and in part because of where I work, I knew to look for something unique. And I had learned that the International Dark Sky Association had just certified a dark sky park, much to the credit of the Appalachian Mountain Club, and they were open to property just this year that we were able to visit. It was really, really special.
So very fun. So you actually went to the Dark Sky Park because we talked about these things. So folks, celebrate these dark sky parks. They won't stay dark sky parks unless people go to them and embrace them. And you don't go there and set up a bunch of lights around your campsite. The idea is to celebrate the dark, to see the skies. Now, you were watching Perseids, and you happen to have this one that made the news. If you notice here, this is a Maine website. A fireball spotted over New England Friday night. The meteor's path was over central Maine, more than 85 reports of sightings. Now, this meteor, however, was not a Perseid. It was very bright. But how do you know it wasn't a Perseid?
Because of where we were looking in the sky. So Maine is one of those places where if you don't like the weather, you can just wait 5 minutes and it will change. So we had made sure to schedule ourselves a couple nights, so we were sure to get a nice, observing opportunity. And this was our first night there. And as soon as it was dark, I ran outside, and it was complete cloud cover. There was not a star to be seen. So we stayed up, playing cards and drinking tea. And before we decided to turn it and just pop back out, and it was spectacular. Still partially cloudy, so it was a little bit of drama. And kind of following where the best observing was. So we just happened to not be looking in the direction of the Perseids, and this fireball just lit up the sky. And I think because it was partially cloudy too, it was almost like a lightning kind of, it really just lit everything up, and we were just so astonished. And we're also on this property where there's no Wi-Fi, there's no cell service. So I just took my little notes about the time and what I saw, and the direction we were looking in. And when we emerged from the woods after a couple of days, I looked it up and was so excited to see it was newsworthy. and that we'd really, you know, it was actually as special as it felt in the moment.
Yeah, so you said wrong place in the sky. So that's very interesting. That implies something about the Perseids that we'll hear about in a little bit. But before we turn back to our meteors, we're going to talk about our inquiries from the foundation. And Nikki's the one that helps pass these along to us. And we did have a question that we dug up. And the idea behind this is our foundation members, by the way, you could join the foundation if you like what you're hearing tonight. You could become a member. Nikki will tell you about how to do that. But we also like to take a question from those members and answer it. So did you have that question, or did I sneak that past you, by the way? I managed to get it from
Yes,
Katie.
we have a question from Connie Elliott. I'm so excited because she's not only a member, but a longtime volunteer. And she asks, is it too late for a 9th planet discovery in my lifetime?
9th planet discovery, is it too late? Well, the answer to that is no, it's not too late. In fact, there's some evidence that there may be a 9th planet out there well beyond Neptune. When we look at the distribution of dwarf planets out by Pluto, so Pluto, Eris, Makemake, others, it turns out they're not distributed quite randomly. It looks like there's been something else that's influenced the way they're orbiting. And in fact, where they have the closest approach. It looks like something gravitational has tipped the gravity they're dealing in. And Mike Brown and Constantine, I can never say his name. Sorry, Constantine. Anyway, they did the math. They did the statistics and said there's something out there pulling on them, and it's probably a Neptune or larger planet, very far away. It might have an elliptical orbit, and they're looking for it. They thought they might have found it by now, and it turns out there was an article just yesterday that came out. I don't know if we had this one. Did we get it in here? Yes, we did. So there's the question. And I pulled this in just a little bit ago. This came out from National Geographic just a couple of days ago, an article by Nadia Drake, who happens to be the daughter of Frank Drake, famous radio astronomer, was a professor of mine at UCSC. She's a terrific author, writes about science, and she says Planet 9 may be closer and easier to find than thought if it exists. Now, I'll leave it up to you to go read that article. I don't want to steal things from National Geographic. We'll get in trouble. But the upshot is that perhaps it is maybe hidden in that swath of the Milky Way stars. Maybe it's in there somewhere, and it could be there. There's places they haven't looked, and it's possible it might be there. So very, very interesting and a lot of fun. Very cool. So Nikki, how can folks join our foundation if they have a question and they want us to talk about it live on the next All Space Considered?
Yeah, I'll drop links into the chat so you can visit and join. And then in addition to a lot of other fun perks and benefits, once a month we put out a Portal Pass email, which has the form to submit your questions so you could be part of the show, and lots of other fun stuff and exclusive content. So thank you guys so much for having me. I am so proud to work in the service of this organization, and members get to join us in that.
Excellent. Well, thank you for coming and joining us tonight, and your story about seeing a fireball that wasn't a Perseid while you were out observing Perseids. But a lot of fun. Every time you go out and observe the sky, something fun happens, whether it's satellites you see or bring a telescope with you and look at Saturn or Jupiter, but get out and observe the skies. It's pretty great.